So, hi.
Hello.
I'm here today with Dr. Michael Zimmerman. For all of you students who are watching us, I want to introduce this unit this week. I think we're on Unit 13, and it's on integral ecology. And I feel very fortunate because we get to have you. We get to talk to you. They're really like from the horse's mouth. The course is on integral psychology here at Naropa, and it's an online course. And to make it as alive as we can, we want to try to bring it into the present moment and have someone like yourself talk with us about the readings. And they're your readings, so you should be very competent to do this. But first, I want to give you a little background on Dr. Zimmerman. He's a professor of philosophy and director of the Center for Humanities and the Arts at Boulder, University of Colorado at Boulder. And you came from Tulane, and you spent 30 years there. Now, were you philosophy first, and then moved to interested in ecology, and then the intersection of the fields, or?
Well, I was always a philosopher. Environmental philosophy is a branch of.
Oh, okay.
philosophy.
So, but you were always in the environmental part of philosophy, or philosophy in general?
Well, I had my initial interests were in Heidegger.
Oh, really?
And German philosophy, Heidegger, Nietzsche, and others. And and it was only a bit later that I started linking up Heidegger with my environmental interests.
Uh-huh.
So I was one of the first environmental philosophers in the United States, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what I was so interested in, how you brought those two together.
Yeah.
And then I guess an environmentalism / ecology, or is the ecology?
Well,
are they the same? Synonymous?
It depends on how. Environmentalism is a name for a movement which wants to protect the natural environment.
Right.
Ecology is a science.
Uh-huh.
Well, among other things, it's as we argue in our book, there are many different types of ecology.
Mm-hmm.
But the way in which ecology first emerged as a term and as a concept in society was as a branch of science, the study of organisms and their relation to and dependence on habitat. That's,
okay.
Now, oftentimes people say we should protect the ecology.
Yeah.
But that's like saying we should protect the biology.
Yeah, right.
Ecology is a way of studying something.
Okay.
It's not a
I think we do misuse that term.
It's easily done.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I also wanted to share with the students that you are an amazing academic and very prolific, and have written several books, and they seem to be very popular in the field of philosophy and environment, and also that you have over 100 academic articles, which as an academic I can very much appreciate. And that I'm really interested in is your new book that just came out this year, in 2009, Integral Ecology, and I think the subtitle is Uniting Multiple Perspectives on the Natural World. And I want to show it to you all because I think it's such a cool book. You've been studying integral theory now for a while, and you see they have the quadrants sort of laid out, and they have this frog, and the frog has different parts of him missing or showing according to which quadrant he's in. I think that's such a cool thing. And he talks about that in here. And so this is a book co-authored with, so it's Michael Zimmerman and Sean, no, I might not say his name right. It's Esbjorn Hargens, is that correct?
That's as close as I've heard anybody
okay.
come.
I always say Sean, But this is the whole book, and since you don't buy it for this course, I wanted you to at least see it. You'll be reading chapter 11 next week. And your reading for this week, which is by both of those authors, is more of a summary, I think, of the book called An Overview of Integral Ecology by both Sean and Michael. Can I call you Michael?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Great. So that kind of gives us a little introduction into what we're here for today. And you're our guest lecturer. We're calling you our guest lecturer this week. And as a guest lecturer, we're using two excerpts from presentations you did at a conference in 2004, we decided, at the Integral Sustainability Conference for Integral Institute. And
it might have been 05.
Could it have been 05?
Well, no, it couldn't have been, because that was the Hurricane Katrina year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it would have been 04.
I thought it was
That's
04.
Right. That's right.
Anyway, around that time.
5 years ago.
Now, were you working on this book at that time, or was that the birth of the idea of the book?
Oh, no, but Sean and I were at work on the book.
You were working before then? Yeah. Because it kind of seemed like that you were presenting, in the two excerpts we have, a lot of the material that would be in this book now, right?
Yeah.
And we also get to listen to Sean at the conference further next week, so that works as well. Now, one of the things that I think is interesting about this book is that it kind of seemed like that you were presenting, in the two excerpts we have, a lot of the material that would be in this book now, right? And we also get to listen to Sean at the conference further next week, so that works as well. Now, one of the things that I think is interesting about this book is that it kind of seemed like that you were presenting, in the two excerpts we have, a lot of the material that would be in this book now, right? And we also get to listen to Sean at the conference further next week, so that works as well. So, given that we're doing that and they're watching the videos this week, we wanted to see if we could get you. We're so lucky to be in Boulder, and you live here with your wife and your daughter, and I come here occasionally, and so I get to interview you this morning and ask you a few questions that just sort of bring us into the here and now. So, you recall the conference, right? And you recall presenting there. Do you think that sort of spawned a lot more interest in integral ecology, and maybe you could say what you think integral ecology is?
Well, two questions.
Yeah, two questions,
right.
but you could.
I don't know. I don't have any evidence about what happened after the conference.
They didn't like keep in touch with you.
I haven't. Well, I got some emails and so on. I like to hope and think that there is a good ripple effect, and that people took away a lot of important insights and inspiration and put that to work in their various fields. We had people from all kinds of different approaches to environmental issues, as well as from different countries. So I hope it was robust in the sense of having this wide effect.
It certainly was at the conference. I testify to that.
There's a lot of good energy there.
Yeah, there really was.
But now, as for what integral ecology is, well, of course, Sean and I wrote this 800-page book.
So could you say it in a sentence or so?
Well, I'd say integral ecology attempts to, it builds on the work of Ken Wilber and other integral theorists, trying to emphasize the idea that in order to even characterize or name an environmental problem, you have to take into account all these multiple perspectives that Ken talks about in terms of the quadrants, and also developmental lines of various sorts. And one of the reasons I think this has become important and has become recognized as important is what happened in the 80s and 90s, and this was the strong criticism of a sort of a Eurocentric view, and especially a Eurocentric view dominated by men, or the masculine way of seeing things. And then starting with the feminist revolution in the 60s and 70s and into the 80s, it gradually became clear that there are many different ways of representing or understanding a given phenomenon. And what the dominant culture maintains to be true, there's going to be some validity in that, but there are other ways of looking at things. I know I was teaching a course, I've taught for many years courses on environmental philosophy. There's a great book called Uncommon Ground by a historian whose name immediately forgets me, William Cronin. And it's a terrific book, came out in the mid-90s, because it shows the various ways in which different people from different perspectives and developmental levels and so on make sense of environmental issues, or even whether or not they consider something an environmental problem. If you're really poor and you have a bunch of kids to feed, your ability to claim that something is an environmental problem is limited. If you have to do things to feed the kids, you're just going to do them. Now, so that we might, from the outside, being wealthy people from the first world, we may look at these behaviors and say, wow, these people are doing a lot of environmental damage and they should stop. Well, yeah, but that's because we have the wealth, the education, and whatever else is necessary to make that judgment. So I think for me, that book, Uncommon Ground, really hit home, and was, for me, a way of connecting environmental issues with Ken Wilber's integral approach.